Tap tap, is this thing on? Hello and welcome to Good Chats. Welcome everybody. Thanks for waiting for me to get my it together. I was just trying to work out what was going on with the microphone, but I think it's working. It's all working tonight. We're starting to get into a rhythm of things this time. So welcome aboard, everybody. This is Good Chats. And in case you don't know what this is basically where Mike, I talk about all the things that are going on with my channel. But the broader theme is we talk about a whole bunch of stuff amongst the crew here on Good Chats, and I hope that everyone learns a thing or two about history, about railways, which we kind of coalesce around, and all sorts of other subjects as well. We've got a ton of people on board tonight, and a ton of active people on board tonight, which is cool. One of the reasons I started this channel was also just to keep doing it and keep doing it and keep doing it, and just slowly build up an audience and show what is possible. So welcome aboard, Noel from Coffs Harbour. Thanks for coming on board. The Mount Lofty video is great. Yeah, that's right. I did a short video on that one a little while back, and I've been trying to continue to publish things in the meantime while I work on the bigger projects, and we'll talk about that in a little bit. G'day Cobber, g'day Mally, how you going, man? Welcome aboard. Luke's Fishing in the Northern Territory, welcome aboard. Looking forward to having you back down in Adelaide, mate. Maybe we'll go out and do a live stream when you come back to town. We'll kind of do the collab fishing thing, and we can try fishing somewhere down here in Adelaide. Not quite as interesting as in the Northern Territory, though. Dave is from Murtoa Railway Station in Victoria and the stick shed out there. And as Mally said, it looks like the stick shed is still standing. I'd kind of messed that up, and so I thought you were still standing, Dave, and I thought you probably should sit down because it's a half-hour live stream. G'day, JK, welcome aboard. Producer of the show and making sure that everything works and piping up when it doesn't. Thanks for coming on board. I'm Dave. Kingsley Purvis, thank you. Hope the roast pork was nice. And who else have we got on board tonight? We got Ree. It's on, Ree, no doubt, man. And the van couple. You're in Wollonga tonight. Beautiful Wollonga. I suppose you found a fave spot down there to chill. street scrambler on holiday in Adelaide from the UK at the moment. And no doubt, like most UK tourists, you're probably flying your drone around places that the rest of us are not allowed to, because you can just scarper back to the UK when you're done, eh? Oh, wow. Okay, cool. Excellent. That's the way. I should put out some stickers. I am still working on better outdoors type stickers that I would love to see plastered to road signs all over the country one day. Corrupting the algorithms. Yeah, I don't even. No, but welcome aboard, Street Scrambler. You're about to get a taste of a little bit of suburban Adelaide life here. I'm up in northeastern Adelaide, and most of my travails are around Adelaide or South Australia, although I do go a bit further afield. Up in the magic window there was a flight I did yesterday at Stockwell. I spent the last day and a half up in the Barossa Valley. I went for another trip this afternoon because a couple of my shots from yesterday were shit, to be quite honest with you. So I thought I'd go back and get them again. I reckon I'm pretty close to actually going out and now creating that video. I don't think I really need the National Railway Museum for this video. I've got access to a whole bunch of archive historical images through a website called Stations Past, and a guy called Dean Jackson, whose videos are basically available on an attribution basis, which means I can use them. I just have to credit Dean. Street Scramblers down in Morphett Vale, down in the Vales, not far from McLaren Vale, and a whole bunch of other vales and stuff down there. Good old Southern Adelaide. I don't get down there too often. It's on the diametric opposite side of the city from me. It's probably one of the hardest places to get to. So, what am I going to do tonight on the live stream? Welcome aboard. Tell us what you've been up to. Van Couple's been getting around. What kind of stuff have you seen lately, guys? Teach me a little bit about history. O'Malley's over in Bathurst. Wow, we're sort of all over the place. I'd love to know what's happening in your neck of the world. We go for about half an hour, so pipe up at any time. I want to talk about this too. I got a parking fine today. Well, I got a parking fine a week ago, right? The city council, right? I don't even know what way to face this. Face it that way. There you go. They've got this thing now called the Park Safe van. So here I am parked in a no stopping zone, waiting for the no stopping zone to expire in about 4 minutes' time. The bastards just drive their car past and take a photo of you. And I was parked there to actually go and do some volunteer work. $114 later, mind you. So, I'm going to make them work for that $114. I'll probably have to pay it, but not after making them work through a review and work through a payment plan and answer a few emails. Bugger it. They're going to have to work for that money. I wanted to talk about signals. I've got a couple of questions about signals. I've been reading the book of the week, and it talks about signals a lot. And I thought I'd finally ask the chat room crew, because y'all seem to know what's going on with that stuff. And then we'll talk about book of the week. There's so much rail to hunt, Van Couple. Hey, there's so much history, and I'm sometimes feel like I'm getting close to the end of exploring the history, but then I find something else that's inspirational, like perhaps a deeper dive and more drone shots of the Barossa Valley and the railway stations around there. So I spent a fair bit of time exploring that, and what's going on in the magic window there is a drone shot that I did up at Stockwell. There's nothing remaining of the old platform and waiting shed or the goods sidings or indeed any of the railway. I seem to remember way back as a kid when I first got to South Australia, they were still using the line close to this location for storing wagons. But yeah, it's back in the day. Oh, thanks, JK, because I leave it from the last one, and then I kind of come in and I kind of just sit down and just kind of, maybe I just leave it as that all the time now. And I'll go back to my transition. There we go. Oh, g'day, Gary. Welcome aboard. Thanks for piping up. Welcome to the channel. The history of Port Adelaide back in the day, mate. Yeah. That's another video that I may do in the future, but there's actually a lot going on in a really tight space down there in Port Adelaide. You know, the trains that used to go over the Port River a bit further upstream, a bit further closer to West Lakes. So, you know, there's been, I don't know, about 3 or 4 railway crossings of the Port River now over the years. And the streets were once full of trains, and the wharves were full of railway lines. There was railway lines packed in everywhere down there back in the day, and that would make an excellent subject. I spend a lot of time down at the National Railway Museum, and one of my favourite places down there is the original goods shed of the old Port Dock Railway Station. So much has changed around that area, indeed right on that location too, but that old shed is still there, and I really hope that I really hope that they get that restored one day, and bring it back into the mainstream. It's a little bit of a forgotten corner out there in the National Railway Museum, I think, but it's one of the most authentic parts of the whole place and what makes it so interesting. I think I mentioned at some stage as well, but the Railway Museum has asked for hard copies or original copies of as many videos as I can give to them from my channel. It appears someone there has expressed an interest in them, and I'm looking forward to seeing my videos on the big screen, so to speak, down there at the Theatrette at the National Railway Museum. Now, I'm going to just try to choose a different video now, because that's just been looping for a while. And I'll choose another video from another drone shot video from what I've been doing. I think this might be... What's this one? No, that's that. Old man stares at screen again while I work out what the hell I'm doing here. Kind of set that in. Okay, does that work? Okay, here's the Truro drone flight that we did yesterday afternoon, actually. So while I am doing the stream, I'm going to review my own footage as well in the magic window. And while we do that, the question that I had about signals, and surely somebody will know this, but in the book of the week, they start talking about home signals and distant signals, and where the train stopped, I guess, to enter or to leave the yards. What we're looking at here in the magic window is where the yards once were, and the old turntable, or what remains, is about all that's left there now, down on the left-hand side. Hopefully I'm getting that right for the way you're seeing it there. But everything else has been removed now. But this is the large space, as you so often see in some of these country towns, where there's just a big empty space. And it's sometimes where the old terminus or where the old railway yards were too. There's a similar thing at Baskerville. The uninitiated wouldn't really even recognise that a railway once ran through Baskerville if you sort of head through there to the York Peninsula and stuff. But that's why that big empty space is there right in the middle of town, is because that's where the station and the yards were. Yeah, JK, thankfully, thanks to the book of the week, I actually managed to understand what that was. Last time I was up there, I didn't really know what I was looking at, but once I found out it was a turntable, I'm like, that's it. That'll be it. And so part of this video, what I'm doing now is just working from bottom to top on the old Barossa railway lines. I start at Gawler, and I'm not going to go into history on Gawler. Like the Adelaide to Gawler line probably deserves its own video, and Gawler and the tram lines that once ran through Gawler, and the railway lines which were used, according to the book here, to transfer stuff during the construction of the line, actually also ran through town. It's interesting to note how much of Gawler they actually had to demolish back in the early 1900s to get the railway through where it is today. So the Barossa Valley Railway line technically starts just after Gawler Station. I haven't included Gawler Racecourse because that station kind of came later on and there wasn't really much to that. But from Gawler Central, which used to be called North Gawler, was traditionally considered the first station on the Barossa Valley line to Anguston. Oh, g'day, Steve. Welcome aboard, mate. Thanks for joining us. You're always here, Steve. How could you not be here? Just like me. I mean, I do this live stream every single Wednesday night. I think I've missed 2 weeks in the whole time I've been doing it. One of them, I had COVID and wasn't really capable. And the other one, I think I had something pretty serious going on too. I have to be pretty close to dead to not do the live stream. So, Jeremy, do you know what the home signals and the distant signals mean? Because when I am reading about these things, right, it doesn't, when it's in text, it doesn't really make sense. And I haven't really seen a graphic on it either to explain what's happening there. Oh man, I hope I got... Oh, where's the Anguston video? I haven't actually fully reviewed all this footage yet, so I'm a little bit lost. I haven't named it or anything, so there's just a bit of stuff going on there. The old Gawler train station, there is still shops there. There is still a refreshment shop, and I'm not sure if it's a charity shop of some kind. I probably should go one day for a bit more of an exploration, but that's now another one for the books. You know, I want to talk about the northern lines as they go out of Adelaide. So we'd be talking about the Adelaide to Gawler line. There's a lot of history along that line, and the Adelaide up to Red Hill or Malala or even Crystal Brook, all the way up that line there were platforms out at Long Plains and Malala and Red Hill, and there's quite a lot of history that we've lost there, and some fairly easy railway archaeology adventures to be had out there. No, that's all good. Like, I hate spell check too, but that's because I can actually spell. As you probably would have seen, posted a reel the other day, or I've been more active on Facebook, so go check me out on Facebook as well. Show the channel some love over there, because I am going to invest more time in different content for the Facebook, the Facebook page, right? Because the way I've been trained in social media, I'm going to do Instagram, I'm going to do Facebook, I'm doing YouTube, and I have a website as well, and they're all for specific things. So if you want to get a handle on all the different things that I do and all the different things that I create, then it'd be a good idea to go check me out on Instagram and on Facebook as well, because there will be different stuff over there from time to time. Now, what I wanted to show you as well, this is the reason why I went back. So before we do this flight here, the reason I went back today was because I got some terrible shots. Oh, g'day Andy, how you going? Welcome aboard. I'm not going to do TikTok, Andy, and that's not because I don't know how to do TikTok, right? It's because I guess I can only commit to so many channels, and each of them, and it's not just putting different content out either on each of the channels. It's using each of the platforms' affordances is the big word for it. The things that the channels and the platforms lend themselves to best, right? And what is best to go on each. And I just don't have the time to commit to the kind of thing that would work for TikTok as well. I mean, maybe I might if I can just pretty much copy what I'm doing on Instagram, but I don't like doing that if I can avoid it. So it's great to see you on board too, Andy. Andy's blowing up on TikTok. Andy's also blowing up on Instagram as well. He's got a great Facebook page, which is also going off, and his YouTube channel. So just look up Andy Munro and Munro Jumpers on all of those channels. The audience and the vibe that that Andy's getting is to be congratulated, dude. And that's exactly what Instagram's for in particular too. It drives a massive amount of social engagement. TikTok drives a massive amount of social engagement too. But I don't know. My feeling about it is it's not so personal, so to speak, in having a crew, and that's why I really like what I do here on YouTube as well. That has its affordances as well. It's probably, to me, it's one of the safest and least toxic platforms to work on. I have a lot of control over what happens, and at the same time, you have an opportunity to build a respectful community that doesn't get pinged upon by trolls and all the other toxic crap that tends to go on, particularly on Facebook. But yeah, I can't speak highly enough of Andy's channels and the amount of work and the amount of knowledge that this guy has. So what we're looking at now is 2 shots that I took of the Barossa Adventure Station, which is the redevelopment of the old yards at Anguston. We've gone just past the station here, and we're looking east towards the Anguston Hotel, which is now obscured behind those big trees. And we're looking at the eastern car park. And so this is 2 bits of footage. One that I took yesterday at about 3:30, and one that I took today at about 5:30. And so when I was reviewing the footage, on a bigger screen, the car park is just, I did better with a lot of other shots. The drone shots and all that kind of worked out a lot better, but just however the pocket camera works, I couldn't do anything about the exposure of the car park, and I just hated it. It was just so much brighter than any other shot in the video. So I literally drove 25 minutes from Gawler up to, because I was already going to Gawler today anyway to replace the terrible shots that I did at the beginning. And I literally spent 50-minute return job just to go up and get another 20 seconds of video. But that's because I've got commitment, folks, to trying to make videos that aren't visually offensive if I can avoid it. And so yeah, there's nothing I can do with that exposure. You could barely see the tracks that were still embedded in the gravel that lead to where the engine sheds were on the other side of that car park. Yeah, there's a lot of old cheese knobs there around the Anguston, what would you call it? Barossa, now called Barossa Adventure Station. So look out for more stuff on that when I get some time to get right into editing. I've got a fair bit of writing work to do for Walking Essay, socials work to do for Walking Essay, and continuing to work with Brenton and Canoe the Coorong and the brochure, and really try to burnish my graphic design credentials a little bit more. So you'll be seeing and hearing a lot more from me across all of my platforms, not just the weekly live stream. So I don't have a video to watch, and the reason why we're watching all this is in the magic window is because it's all silent at the moment, and I find drone footage without music really boring. Maybe that's just my ADHD kicking in, but anyway, I ordered this from the library, and I'd recommend everybody get onto your local libraries. I've got to change this now from that. Change back to that one. There we go. So I got this one in. This come from the Barossa Library, actually. I probably, now I think about it, could have just dropped in to grab it, but I needed the book before I went and did the journey. This is Railways in the Barossa Valley by Roger Salas. With Railways in the Adelaide Hills, these are 2 of, I think, probably my best resources for these 2 lines. It's just packed with so much stuff, so many images, which now I'm like, oh, who took that image? I might go see if I can get in contact with this person. So this book talks about the long history of the line. There's the Stony there on the back cover. That train ran until about 2014, I think, carrying stone from Penrice Quarry up past Anguston down to Osborne at Port Adelaide. So, that was still around for a lot of us for many, many years. Didn't go through Anguston. That line was shut and converted into a rail trail, I think, right off the top of my head, 5 or 6 years ago. I do want to get a copy of this, JK, and now I've actually read it and got some amazing value out of it, I might actually, next time down the NRM, buy a copy of it while I can. I think it's about $30. So I've got to turn it this way to face dirt camera. Man, I still haven't got this right, and it doesn't really work well with shiny pages, but it's got timetables and all that kind of stuff in it. Now, there was a really cool story in here that I was going to maybe read, and maybe even read on the video as well. And so this is a interesting speeches of the day, I guess we could call it. And this was farewelling the longtime station master of Tanunda Station in 1918. Dear Sir, the residents of Tanunda and the surrounding district have heard with genuine regret that you are about to be transferred to Clare. They cannot, after your residence is over, 7 years in their midst, allow you to depart without expressing to you their high appreciation of your sterling merits, of your fair treatment in the discharge of your duties to all and sundry whose business or pleasure brought them into contact with you. Jeez, that's a long sentence. You were the first station master appointed to Tanunda on the opening of the local railway, and we shall count ourselves fortunate if your successor follows in your footsteps. For in addition to your able conduct of your official duties, you have endeared yourself to all by your unfailing courtesy and your ardent love for floriculture, which has found able expression in the fine garden now gracing the railway yard. You have also, in every other way, been an exemplary townsman, and are indeed sorry to lose you, although we are glad that you have obtained well-earned promotion. We ask you to accept, on behalf of the town and district, an accompanying gift of a gold watch, an enlarged photograph of Tanunda Railway Station, and while wishing Mrs. Dawn and your family and yourself every happiness and success for the future, we beg to subscribe ourselves. Yeah, I have to pay that parking fine. So how about those super thanks, folks? You know, just down in the bottom corner there, you can click that $sign and send dollars. Or alternatively, I talk about the memberships more and more and more. You don't have to do a membership, but it's a great way to just, you know, support me to do the work I do. So I am more and more in the situation where I do actually rely on the money that I'm getting from YouTube now through the advertising, which is not insignificant but not substantial either, to actually pay for what I do, because it costs a lot in petrol and stuff. So yeah, there's some pretty there's a couple of levels of membership support, and then there's one that I just set up at like $60 because I just thought, well, what the hell, let's go for it. Let's if I get a millionaire donor, then why not? Hey, so here we are. We're nearly at the half-hour mark now. Sometimes I will be able to go for more than half an hour. Sometimes the chat is just rolling and things are just happening, and I've got a whole bunch of content to talk about every week, or a video, big long video that I want to show. What I'd really like to, again, I will, you know, keep promoting this, putting that out there. If you want us to all go onto YouTube and have a look at one of your videos, and we can talk about it here live in the live stream chat, then send me the link or mention it beforehand, and we'll put it on here and have a chat about it. Perhaps even if you see something on YouTube during the week, and you know the creator, and you want to get their permission for us to put it onto the channel and have a chat about it each week as well, then please feel free. We could keep this live chat going all day and all night for want of content. But that's, g'day Train Boy, welcome aboard. Oh, thanks O'Malley for that. There you go. That's how easy it is, folks. And that gets me $3 closer to the next trip. Now I've done the Barossa. I'm trying to think of what the next trip is. I know I've been talking to Jeff Justice Noddle about Portland a fair bit, and I do plan to get down there. But the next big one after the Barossa will probably be something like the Adelaide to Malala line. It's not so bad for petrol. But coming up in June, I'm going to make my way up to Farina and Maree, and follow some of the line across the outback there to Farina's important because it was the original terminus of what was to become the Great Northern Line. So South Australian Railways built the line as far as what was then Government Gums, which is now known as Farina. So there's a whole bunch of railway history there, and the Commonwealth Railways came in and took over the rest of it through to Alice Springs. And as we know, it never made it through to Darwin, but hopes were high back in the day when it was built, when the line was built from Hawker up to Farina. Looking forward to doing that in winter time. Definitely a wintertime trip, that one. Well, there's Portland near Bathurst. Well, Portland is a popular place. Portland, down in southern Victoria, still has an active railway line leading to it, and it has a lot of railway history there and opportunities for what we're now calling railway archaeology, because there used to be a railway line to the foreshore. There's now also a small tourist tram there as well, which will be interesting to see. So that's long been on my list, but that is at least, I think, about 4 tanks of petrol away. And these are the kind of things that go through my head when I think about where am I going to go next, or how am I going to budget for this. 4 tanks of petrol, it's over $400. And then you're going to have a couple of nights accommodation and all that kind of stuff as well. Pseudo-intellectual, welcome on board. If you live near Portland at Alberton, then I live near Portland too, here at Hillcrest, but that's okay. Alberton's a cool town. Just ask O'Malley. And Trainboy 1200, I think I said g'day, but I was just so overwhelmed by the $2.99 donation. That kind of stuff really is very humbling, because this is just a humble live stream. It's been just me doing my thing for 127 weeks, and I guarantee you that I'll be doing it for another 127 memberships or not. So let's do this now, where we go through I call it the 5-minute warning. I used to call it the 5-minute warning. But it's always a good idea just to give people some idea of where we're headed. Now the live stream's going to wind on down. So last questions, please, and last drinks, folks. Here's my massive beer again. Not sure I'm going to finish that in the next 5 minutes, but I'll give it a go. You're heading over to Europe, Train Boy. Oh, awesome, man. Probably Nirvana for train people. There's trains everywhere. And there's lots and lots of things that I saw over there in Europe that I'll never forget, particularly as a railway fan and a railway history fan. Hey Dave, I haven't been to the Puffing Billy since I was probably 9 years old, so hard for me to say if it's worth the trip. Maybe one day I'll get over there and do a bit around Victoria, but still got a few bits and pieces to squeeze out of the history of the South Australian railway lines. So I want to thank everybody from coming on board tonight. Noel in Coffs Harbour, O'Malley over in Bathurst tonight, Luke's fishing up in the Northern Territory there, Dave from Murtoa Railway Station in Victoria. That's really cool. I went really close to Murtoa, I think, at some stage when I was travelling through the Wimmera and stuff, looking at those Western Victoria lines. I will slowly go a bit deeper into Victoria's railway lines and find myself in Murtoa one day in the next year or so, hopefully. JK, welcome aboard. Thanks for keeping us straight. Kingsley Purvis, thank you again for coming on board, sir. Always a pleasure. Re-L, bro, mate, thanks for coming on board. Great to have you here. The Van Couple, always interesting to hear where you guys are week on week. I love following the van lifestyle. Obviously, camping, outdoors, all that stuff. Subject that's very close to my heart. Who else have we had on board? Street Scrambler down there and representing the Southern Vales. We also had Gary Warrior as well. Thanks for chiming in, Gary. Would love to be able to provide more Port Adelaide related stuff. Steve Klink, thank you for coming on board, mate. Andy Munro, always an absolute pleasure. Keep an eye on Andy's star. Things are going to come together soon for that bloke, and he's going to rock it out big time. Trainboy 1200, thank you for coming on board. Enjoy Europe. Make the most of it while you're there. Such a long way away. So expensive to go back, so just make sure you make the absolute most of it. Who else have we had on board tonight? Pseudo Intellectual. I love that name. That's a great name. Thank you everybody for coming on board. Thank you to the replayers if you've made it this far as well, and thank you for everybody who's just sitting there quietly and just listening in and not really saying anything. Please feel free to chime in. This has been good chats, and I will do this again next week, as indeed I will every week between now and then, I guess. Thanks for coming on board. Peace until next week.